Hi.
Hi, Sylvia. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Good.
welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
I clicked on early just to make sure everybody that I can get in and it's
Yeah, no,
being
I know. I clicked on early because I wanted to make sure I got in because I was doing a really nice workshop with Sue and then she changed the time of it and I couldn't do it because of my time differences. And I couldn't do what she was doing.
oh, okay.
Um, so how's it going to work today? Are you doing lots of different poets or have you got people lined up or
Yeah,
can we
we
just
have maybe 10. I'm not sure because one of the garden coordinators is working with all the registration stuff, so maybe 10 people. And I don't know how many people want to do fiction or if they're doing poetry. Are you here for poetry?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't do fiction. I don't write fiction.
Okay. So, I want to see how many people show up and then find out who's writing what and then go from there and see how much
I'd
time,
love to
maybe
read if I get a
three to,
chance.
yes, everybody will have a chance to read.
Oh, okay. Okay. I wasn't sure
Yeah, I want
what.
to make sure everybody has a chance to read. We have an hour. Well, an hour is allowed, but we'll see. I want to make sure
Sometimes people
people,
go over, don't they?
yeah, with the fiction, sometimes that happens. So I want to set some boundaries, but I don't want to be a police officer.
Oh, no, I think you have to establish things like that. I think I've
Yeah.
been to a lot of online open mics and things like that. There's a very, very good one actually called Cultivating Voices that's run out of America. That's
Okay.
on every Sunday night. I don't know if you know
Okay.
it.
Cultivating voices.
Yeah, and I've been going to that on, I mean, I go to it on and off. I can't get every single Sunday night, but it works pretty well. But they have a regular format. I mean, like they're like if you've got if you're one of their regular poets like I am, they have an open mic night, which I missed actually last Sunday because I'd actually swum from the mainland back to the island, so it was an open sea swim, and I was exhausted and I couldn't do anything, so I didn't do that one. But I regularly do their open mic nights like this where I turn up and read. But I mean, if you've got a new book, they'll give you a slot to publicize your new book and read various poems from it. They'll do all sorts of, and then they have guest poets that are people they specifically picked from various people who turn up on a regular basis, and you get a sort of a spotlight on you for doing about, I don't know, half a dozen, well, 4 or 5 poems usually. Usually get a 10-minute slot, I think. I've had a couple of those. But it
Right.
works very well. They have a slightly different format every week, but it's every single Sunday night. And a lot of people don't get there every single week. So you don't use you I know a lot of the regulars, but I don't know them all completely.
Right.
It works quite well.
Hi, Etya.
Hi,
How
hi,
are
Barbara.
you? Hi.
Hi, Sylvia.
Um,
Hi, nice to meet
we're
you.
Nice to meet you.
Sylvia just explained a really cool open mic that's on Sunday nights, and this is all recorded, so you can hear all about it when if you listen to the recording on which will probably be in the put up in the Garden of Neuro on YouTube.
Mhm. Wonderful.
Yeah, so
I'm excited.
yay. Etya, what are you going to read?
I think I'm going to read that last piece I sent to you, 11 to 13-year-old self.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
Do you know about how much time that might take?
I'll tell you the words count. I think it's like
Oh, no, no.
words.
It's not
Yeah.
super long, so it's
No.
probably 3 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm
On
gonna
average,
try.
I've worked out that about 1,000 words takes me about 7 minutes, five
Oh,
to
a
seven
thousand
minutes,
words, 7 minutes.
roughly
Yeah.
5 to 7 minutes. Depends on how quickly you read, and also,
Yeah.
what the content is. Sometimes you need to put emphasis and things like that. So, but between 5 and 7 minutes.
Oh, here's Nolcha. All these names I've seen.
Yeah.
Now I could put them with faces. I got your books, your book, Barbara. I didn't
Oh,
have a
you
chance
did?
to,
The new one?
yeah, the new one. I didn't have a chance to read it, because I'm
Oh.
overwhelmed with, submitting my stuff to agents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it.
Yay. Nolcha and I are going to read a poem from that. Hi, Sharon.
Hey, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, here's mine.
All right. That's great.
Yeah. I will definitely post a review after I'm done reading it.
Pardon?
I will definitely post a review after I'm done reading it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oops. Yeah, so in a minute we'll get going. I think there could be maybe 4 or 5 more people. I don't know. I'm not the one who's sending out all the links. There's Nancy. Nancy is our big help with setting all this up with the links and everything. She's the one that's been emailing you.
I'm just so happy that it worked and you're all
Yeah,
here
yeah.
recording.
Yeah, and Sylvia just visited with me. I'm glad it's all recorded about a Sunday night poetry open mic with Cultivating Voices, so
Excellent.
people can hear about that.
Mhm. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. I appreciate all the hard work you've done, Nancy.
Trying. I can
Oh,
way
you've got
through
so
it.
much to go. Nancy is my publisher, our
Hmm.
publisher for Too
Mm-hmm.
Fun to Be Legal that Noel Chef Fox and I have written. I think everyone can see everyone's names here.
Mhm.
I'm going to screen share the, let's see, garden. Can you guys see that? Oh, I don't know. Did it screen share?
Says
Well,
you started one, but it doesn't show.
Oh,
show you.
what's going on? Oh, okay.
No, you have to stay now.
It says Zoom on it. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's there now.
Oh, what?
It's okay, Barbara. It's there now.
Oh, okay. I can't.
Our simple
All I
rules.
see is Zoom. I don't see my.
No, you should see our simple rules. Respect all the
Mhm.
spaces. Be curious. Ask
Okay.
questions. Support women's agency. Be open to life's
Okay.
infinite possibilities. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what you wanted to share?
Yeah, except I can't see it, so I have to figure out what I did. I think I. Oh well. Okay. Let me look. All right, here. So welcome to. This is a Garden of Neuro open mic. It's once a month, every 3rd Thursday. In your
Tuesday, you mean?
every Tuesday. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
You're
Some,
gonna be my
I'm already involved in something every Thursday.
My name is Barbara Leonhard. I'm your host, and I wanted to read the community rules. Let's see. What I've done is I've shared my screen. I've changed my screen size. Now I can't see all my goodies here. Okay, just a minute. Well, so the Garden of Neuro Institute, we envision a world where all women are seen and heard. It's not showing up for me. Oh, here it is. Okay. Our community practices deliberative conversations, sociocratic decision-making, and collective projects for the benefit of all engaged members. We share wisdom through book clubs, kitchen table talks, free and paid courses, and collaborative work. Our simple rules: respect all the spaces, be curious, ask questions, support women's agency, be open to life's possibilities. So I've been a member of the garden for a year or more. Probably more. And they have a Facebook page and a Facebook group if you're interested in joining that. But also it's free to just go in to the website gardenofneuroinstitute.com and sign up for free. and they have an orientation process where you can kind of stroll and tour the whole garden. There are lots of groups, lots of clubs, like book clubs and art clubs, if you like art, poetry, lots of things. There's so much to offer. And you can join up with groups and take courses, and they're very generous, very generous. Do you have any questions? And Nancy is here. She's one of the founders, and she can answer some questions if you have them. Any questions? Okay.
I've been hanging around the edge of the Garden of Neuro for about 2 years or more. I think it's soon after it started, Susan invited me to join it, but I just don't have the time to get involved in any major way. And also the time differences mean that a lot of stuff is completely out of the question for me.
Right. Yeah.
That's been a big issue.
Like
as
this
well.
is during the day, you know, so I think a lot of the programs happen during the day before 5 o'clock.
But I have a limited number of evenings I'm free, you see.
Yeah.
I do other things in the evenings as well, so.
Yeah. So I don't know if there are going to be more joining. I'd like to get started. We might have time. Just quickly say where you're from. Say hi and say where you're from. Sylvia, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'm from the UK and in a place called the Isle of Wight, which is not on the mainland of the UK. It's a little island on the south coast. And yeah, I mostly write memoir, stuff about mindfulness and emotional literacy, and poetry.
Wonderful.
And I'm a professional storyteller.
Wonderful. Nice to meet you.
And you.
Etya, would you say hi? And
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Etya, and I live in the United States of America right now. But originally, I am from the former Soviet Union, and I've written a memoir which I am trying to publish traditionally. It's about my life as a Jew in the Soviet Union and the discrimination I experienced there.
yeah, I've read her memoir. It's very, very, very well written, and it's a page turner.
Thank you.
Nolcha. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, we had a little bit of doggy interruption, so I'll probably be on mute most of the time because they're butt heads today. I'm the poet laureate of the Garden of Neuro. Barbara and I have been, I don't know, what would you call us? Comrades in writing.
Right.
I guess that's a good way to put it. We published a book together, and I think I have it here. Yay! Much fun to be legal.
Yeah.
And we've also been writing Rengays with Melissa.
Melissa's here.
Hi, Melissa.
Hello.
No, you're not. Thanks, Nolcha. And Sharon Singing Moon Feltman is.
Where's Nolcha from?
Oh, Nolcha, where are you from?
I'm from Buffalo, Wyoming, in a place nobody knows. And it's really hard to get to. Ask my family.
Thank you, Nolcha. Sharon.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Singing Moon, and I'm a poet, and I write other screenplays. I'm working on a novel and a young adult historical fiction. I live on the ancestral land of the Kickapoo, Shawnee, Iowa, Oto, Delaware, and Osage, what is now referred to as Columbia, Missouri.
Yeah, I'm glad you showed the Native American terrain here, Sharon. That's good. And Melissa.
Yes. Are we doing introductions?
Yeah, just say like where you're from, short introduction, since there's not 100 of us.
Okay, yeah. Oh, my cat Prometheus. I saw the chat. Yes, this is
Okay.
Prometheus. I think he's being jealous, maybe. But yes, my name's Melissa LeMay. I'm from Akron, Pennsylvania. Someplace probably a lot of people don't know too. And I write a lot of poetry, and yeah, I found my way to the Garden of Neuro through Barbara and Nolcha, and yeah, I really just like writing and collaborating with people. It's a lot of fun. So
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, and Nolcha and Melissa and I write Renge poems together. One was published in in Hotel Masticadore's house today. We might read it, so we are going to read it. Nancy, do you want to say anything?
Thank you. It's so nice to see everyone here. Thank you, Barbara, for hosting these events. These are, I think, very important events, especially when there's a lot of women in the room. Yeah, I call myself the first seed in the garden. Susan and I met right after the whole world shut down, and started with this idea that she had had for a long time, and it aligned really well with my goals, which is to lift women's voices. And yeah, you know, your story is so important, and those are the kinds of stories that we need more of. Sylvia, I've also read your book, and we need more of those stories too. The more
Thank
we
you.
tell these stories, the more comfortable we are. I think what happens is we're so uncomfortable hearing them, we don't tell them. So we need to be comfortable telling them. We need to be comfortable hearing them in order to make great change in the world. And that's what's truly needed today. And I believe the way we make change is by sharing our story. So I'm so happy to see all of you here. And I invite you to the garden. I know it's just one more platform to be in, but right now we're focused a lot on poetry in the garden. There are some changes happening that have to do with more women's leadership, because that's even more what we need in the world, is more women in leadership positions, regardless of where you are in life. And what do I write? Poetry, short stories. I write a lot of fiction and nonfiction that blurs the lines between the two, because again, I am telling my own stories, as well as other ones that are other women's stories that either they don't want to tell or can no longer tell because they are no longer with us. So that's what I write. And I'm looking forward to today. But I want to open it up with some lines that I hope that neither Barbara nor Norcha have picked up on, because we were having a conversation in our last gathering. And the funny line that came out of it was, poets trash hotel room, no rhyme or reason.
I love that. Thank
Well, that way
you.
you
Wonderful.
both said it, and I don't think either one of you wrote it down. So
I don't think I did.
I just
Don't
thought that
remember.
was hilarious.
Thanks for
But
sharing.
welcome everyone, thank you for being here.
Thank you. So I think most of us are reading poetry. But Etya, you're reading a short memoir piece. Why don't we start with yours? I imagine hers maybe at least 3 to 5 minutes, and then we can maybe each take 3 to 5 minutes. But it's cloudy because Nolcha and Melissa and I want to read some collaborations. And I don't know how to time those for each rep, so we'll just do the best we can. Etya, do you want to read your selection?
Yeah, do you want me to share, or I could just read?
Just read.
Okay, let me go there. All right.
I mean, it's up to everybody else, but
Mhm.
maybe we could all go on mute while people are reading, except the readers.
Okay, I call it Dear Teenager. Dear teenager, I am writing to you from the future, 57 years later to be exact. It's 2024, and I am now 70 years old. As I write this letter, I reflect on the many experiences and lessons that have shaped our lives. I want to share some thoughts and insights with you, the young version of myself, as you navigate the complex world around you. Growing up as a Jew in the Soviet Union, you've already faced your share of challenges. I remember the feelings of being different, of sensing that our identity was both a source of pride and a target for prejudice. I remember how my teacher labeled me an outcast on the first day of school by marking my name in front of my classmates. Understanding why people treated us differently because of our heritage was difficult. However, I want you to know that this part of our identity will become a source of incredible strength and perseverance. At 13, you are full of hopes and dreams, wondering what the future holds and what you must do to get there. I remember how much you wanted to be a doctor. You worked hard to receive as much education as possible, even joining extracurricular classes to better your knowledge. Mama told you that education was the key to your success, and you believed her. Even though you felt overwhelmed by her assertion, you reassured yourself that you could achieve these dreams despite the discrimination you experience daily. Hold on to them, even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. Your determination will help you navigate life's insecurities. The Soviet Union does not treat those who stand out kindly. You will face discrimination at most times. You will feel like an outsider. But through this experience, you will learn the power of empathy and the importance of standing up for what is right. You will develop a sense of justice and a deep appreciation for the value of family love and the solidarity of friends. Looking back, I wish I could tell you how much you will accomplish. You will find ways to thrive despite the obstacles, achieving things that now seem out of reach. You will graduate with red diploma, one of the highest honors a graduate can receive. You will make Mama proud. You will not allow hate to destroy your confidence. Moreover, on your graduation day, you will stand at the podium and give a speech, holding your head high and proving to your enemies that their dislike did not stop you from achieving your dream. The education you receive, the family support, and the determination to pursue a 4-year degree at the university of your choice will be your most treasured sources of pride and joy. Remember, success is not just about what you achieve, but also about the person you become. As you grow, you will discover the richness of your Jewish heritage. It will be your guiding light, your beacon of hope, leading you to a place where you belong and have a connection to something greater than yourself. The traditions, stories, and values passed down through generations will become a source of inspiration. Embrace this heritage, for it will be a fountain of strength in difficult times. There will be moments when you question yourself as doubt and fear creep in. I want you to remember this. You are more resilient and capable than you realize. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow. I want you to know you have a lot to contribute. Trust in yourself and the journey, even when it feels uncertain. If I could offer you any advice, it would be to nurture your curiosity and never stop learning. The world is vast and wonderful, and your passion for discovery will lead you to unexpected and rewarding places. Be open to change, embrace new experiences, and never be afraid to ask questions. As I write this letter, I realize the future still holds promise. The world is constantly changing, and each new day brings potential for growth and opportunity for success. Our journey is not over. There are still dreams to chase and stories to tell. There is still a chance to publish a memoir about our life in the Soviet Union. I sincerely believe it. My younger, impressionable self, I leave you with these thoughts and all the love and wisdom accumulated from a lifetime of experiences. Remember that you are never alone. I am always here with you in spirit, watching over you and cheering you on. Remember to choose love as your weapon and kill hate with kindness. But most of all, forgive from your heart all who hurt your tender 13-year-old self. With all my life, love, kindly, your 70-year-old identical twin.
Thank you, Etya. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
To write a letter to your teenage self. Wonderful. Just beautiful. Yeah, she publishes several memoir pieces in Masticatories USA, which I edit. And like I say, she has a memoir coming out, looking to come out at some point here. It would be great. I highly recommend it.
Thank you.
Does anyone have a comment or question?
I
for Etya?
do. That was amazing. That it, makes me want to write a letter to my 17-year-old self too. But
I
that
think-
was amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah,
Thank you.
just
What a journey you've been on.
Mhm. Appreciate it. Sylvia, would you like to share?
Share what? Comment to Etya
No,
or?
or your work or a comment.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just say something to Etya. I found myself nodding and agreeing with so many of the comments you made. I thought there was a lot of wisdom and value in what you wrote as well. That would be useful for anybody.
Thank you.
Right, I'm going to read a poem called Meeting Up. Do you want to share screen or do you want
What
to?
do you all think? Do you prefer share screen or? Oh, hi, Annette. Hi.
Sarah,
I
thank you so
don't think
much.
it's required to share screen. I think. just-
Okay. Well, I just find it easier for myself because I can't always catch
Okay,
on
you
every
can,
word.
you
but-
can, you can, you
But
can.
I'm
It's
not worried
easy.
about doing it for me if other people can hear me. But when other people are reading, my
Oh.
attention problems, ADHD, mean it's difficult for me to stay with what's being read.
Yeah.
I find it easier if I can read and write,
Yeah.
read and listen at the same time. Anyway, this is a poem. This is a poem I wrote a few months ago. Actually, I met up with a school friend that I'd parted ways with about 30 or 40 years ago. Really, 30 years ago completely, but 40 years ago possibly semi-completely, because it had just gone very messed up. Really, the relationship got very messed up. And then she read my book, my memoir, No Visible Injuries, which Nancy was mentioning. And she's in it. She's not named, but she's in it. And she recognized herself. And she got in touch and she said she wanted to meet up. So this is the poem I wrote about that. It's called Meeting Up. The past is full of rabbit holes down which one might tumble on days like this, when ghosts, or call them echoes perhaps, come to visit. The passing of time does strange things to old recollections, but I always remember when it's your birthday if I notice the date. Can the what went wrong be pushed away with assertions of I'm not the same person, I've changed? Shall ask honesty, apparent openness, leading a desire for reacquaintance, a renewal of childhood connections, tenuous even then when one looks back. This arthritic spine and knee will not sustain another tumble. Old age brings with it a certain toughness, but frailty too. There has already been so much. And there you are. I'm looking into an aging mirror. We are still the same, and the grass between us is smoother than I ever remembered it. It's so nice to talk to someone who remembers my parents and my sister, you say. All gone now. I share my memory of using conditioner, patiently combing out huge knots from her fine angel hair. My family, either dead or lost to me now, only feature in your curiosity for updates. Old partners' names reminisced over, enough snippets to show we were indeed once an integral part of each other's lives. But at the present, what now? Shall we meet up again? I think so. I'm done with harbouring old wounds. I think you are too. Memories can be so mixed. As you left, I gave you the iris I brought for your empty pond. Just bare water in the photo you shared on your messages. The tentative ones whilst we explored this old-new connection. You need never forget me. All my friends have me in their gardens. And then we were both gone, back to our personal routines. That echoey feeling remains, though, an umbilical remembering. We are both much loved in our separate lives. Can we bring that into focus once more? Allow ourselves to reach out our amoebic energies towards each other and not recoil? An act of courage, of faith and trust to be rekindled? These things are not taken lightly, yet life is but a story, a game, a series of adventures. After all, isn't that why we met in the first place?
Very nice. I
Thank
think that writing poems like that, it's very important, we speak of forgiveness again, Etya talked about it. Meeting soul to soul with somebody and with understanding. Do you have any other poems?
I've got another one. It's a love poem that I wrote. Do any of you know the poet John Cooper Clarke? He's a British poet, but he's a punk poet. And he has a certain type of style. So I wrote this. This is called a love song in the manner of John Cooper Clarke. You are my walking Valium, my daily dose of joy. You are my favourite cuddle and squeeze, my bestest bedtime toy. You are my walking Valium, you keep my life quite calm. And when it gets away from me, I simply grab your arm. You are my walking Valium, my comfort every day. You listen to my words, to everything I say. You let me know you're listening. That was a novel first. Before you came into my life, I thought my brain would burst. You are my daily Valium. We sit and then we walk in meditative silence. You end all my internal squawk. You are my waking Valium, a balm to soothe the shock as I come into consciousness and reach out for the clock. My body goes on high alert until against you I can dock. My arms and legs entwined around, you're trapped in my lover's lock. You are my sleeping Valium, you soothe that day away to give my just enough respite to face another day. You are my wondrous Valium, without whom I would stop. Without you, I could not carry on. My energy would drop into a great abyss, into a sinkhole deep and wide. But I know I am safe when I can feel you by my side. You are my living Valium, from you I'll never part. You are my daily dose of fun. You are the one to whom I run. I am the bullet, you're my gun. In all the heavens, you're my sun. You're my very own number one, the hit love song we've just begun. You really won my heart. That's to my husband.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you so much, Sylvia.
That's a
Oh,
pleasure.
I love the
okay.
But he does.
cadence of that.
He's a
That was
lot of.
amazing.
You like it? Oh, good. I'm glad you did.
Mhm.
I actually wanted to read those two out especially, but the punk one especially because I'm going to a steampunk recital on Saturday. I've been asked to present poems at a steampunk, and I'm going to do that one as one of the poems I'm doing.
That's
I'm
exactly.
asked to do a half-hour recital there, and I think it's sort of like, because John Cooper Clarke's quite funny and humorous, but he has a lot of drug references and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Because he was addicted to heroin for a long time.
Well, yes. Speaking of drugs, I know Sharon might be reading some from her new book about her son. Thank you, Sylvia. If we have time, we might be able to do more, but I'll move on to Sharon, just to make sure everybody has a chance. Do you have a couple poems, Sharon?
Oh, I do. I wasn't going to read something from my recent book, The Weight of One Hummingbird Feather, which is about my son who OD'd. I'm going to read something from, I don't know if you can see this, it's a new anthology that just came out. And so I have 3 poems in this, and I want to read one of these. Its title is Not Even the Dead.
Yeah.
A boy, face smudged with grime, carries a scrawny kitten. His sister and their cousin struggle to keep up. Makeshift crutches pinch their arms as they practice walking on just one leg each. A bit of happiness was discovered in the rubble. They hand the forlorn-looking feline to a smiling mother. What a blessing, she cries aloud. Another mouth to feed, she silently considers. The constant buzz of drones invades sleep. Bombs drop without reason. There is no place to hide. She makes tea with only water and a bit of lemon peel found yesterday. This must suffice as their evening meal. Across the hill, bulldozers defile graves, toss shrouded bodies into piles, demolish stone markers, smooth the ground, erect walls for a military compound. Here, in this hell, not even the dead find peace.
Very good.
I have been writing a lot about what is happening in Gaza because my heart is breaking. We here in Columbia march every Saturday at 2:00 on behalf of peace for the Palestinians and the right to return and the right to their own livelihood in their own indigenous land. So I want to read a couple more poems about Palestine and what's happening to the Palestinian people. This one is titled Boy, Planting a Garden in a War Zone. He is 5, maybe 6, squatting outside a tent in the dust of Rafah. His parents and 2 sisters martyred. He shakes debris from forlorn-looking leaves. With 2 fingers, he makes holes in a small mound of dry dirt. gently plants the dead weeds, pats the soil around. Pouring a jar of brown water on his garden, he says, I want to make it beautiful.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
And I have one more I'd like to share on the same topic. Its title is Rebel. A grandmother clutches the key to her father's home. She recalls laughing, chasing cousins through the groves of olive trees, lemons, and figs. Her prayer to be in the family garden once more, to pick grapes from their vines, bite the sweet fruit as juice runs down her chin. How she loved the sun-warmed strawberries she told her grandchildren about. She hears shouts, a baby's cries. Confused, she recalls swinging on the rope, her brother tied to a branch. Is that him now, returned from prison, where he died of torture at 15? She takes a breath. Toxic dust fills her lungs. Her eyes are clouded. She cannot move her legs. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. She drifts, recalls how strangers now sit at her mother's table. The beauty of their teakwood table. Her mother's pride in serving tea. Her kanafe, legendary across the neighborhood. A footprint on her heart. She has no tears left to weep. The key she has carried for all her life will never again taste its lock. The baby's cries are no more. This 25-mile-long pile of rubble will be their unmarked grave.
Thank you. Those were just beautiful, very poignant, relevant.
Thank you.
Thank you,
for the
Sharon.
opportunity.
Yes, and please list any books in the chat. People are starting to do that. I invited people to list some books that they've written. Okay, so Nancy I'm not sure if you're still there. Oh, I have to step away. Okay. Washer and dryer.
I'm here for a second.
Okay.
I'm sorry, ladies.
Did you want
washer
to
and
read
dryer's
anything,
being-
Nancy?
My washer and dryer is being delivered. I gotta go
Oh.
mess with that right now. But Barbara, is it okay if I drop that other call for submission in there?
Sure.
Okay. I will
Please.
do
Yeah,
that.
she's putting some calls for submissions in the
I will be back.
also. Yay. So Nolcha, Melissa, and I have done some collaborative writing, so I thought we'd do a little segment where we read our collaborations. I don't know if they might have other poems too they might want to read for their time. But so what do you say, gals?
Yep.
Let's see. Gotta find my all right. Can people still hear me?
Yep.
Which one do we want to read first?
Let's do Glitter Lips.
Glitter Lips. It was published today. Okay. This is a renge. Melissa, Nolcha, and I write renge poems together. On Haikupedia, you can read about renge poems. So I think I started this one. Her lips have poof, sparkling proof that her skin has shimmer too. Her bags and shoes have bling.
She's a bling ding. Only glam and glitter catch her eyes.
She dreams of islands, swimming with dolphins, and marble butterflies.
With glittering wings that make hummingbirds and dragonflies envious.
Her goal in life is to be the envy of her friends.
That's all she has to show for it when it ends.
So as you can see, it's a stanza of 3 lines, 2 lines, 3 lines, 2 lines, 3 lines, 2 lines. So should we do Joy in the Morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started that one.
Okay, Joy comes in the morning.
Yep. My car wouldn't start. I pushed it off a cliff and watched the luminous sunrise.
Sunrise paid 2 bird tweets for my junker car and donated it to Butterflies Anonymous.
The brilliant sunshine smashed my coffee maker, spilling my joy into puddles. A voice spoke, "Too much caffeine will give your tummy butterflies."
I knew the voice wasn't God. God knows there's no such thing as too much caffeine.
But death won't let me drink the whole pot. He says he wants some too.
I offer him a cup of brew, extra leaded. He says it tastes like heaven. Okay. Nulch and I, in our book, we have a poem, The Secret Life of Socks. And if you have the book or you bought it, want to buy it, my verses are in italics and hers are the rest. So I'll start it. The pair, a solid couple, look alike, stink alike, have great jobs, untethered in leather factories, but some never return from work.
When we blame the washer for eating our socks, they're really out playing and whining and dining, forgetting our footsies are freezing without them.
That creates jealousy as some show up late, full of gaping holes from threads yanked, pulled out, twisted around a cotton crew.
I don't want to know what and where they did with whom. It's too much information. I mend the holes and call it good, pretend it never happened.
You sound like Ms. Clean. It doesn't bother you, all the missing ones, the mysteriously mismatched pairs, the pink ruffled anklet tangled with the hiker one?
I wait 6 months for mismatched mates to magically appear. If not, I toss the whole lot out and go on a sock shopping spree.
Grab your purse. There's a sock hop spree for 3 overstock sale at Victoria's Secret. Okay. Let's see. I'll go back. Okay. Oh, hi, Lisa. Whoops. All right. So I don't know, Nolcha or Melissa, do you have others you want to read? Do you want each one to read another one or of your own or?
Sure. I'd like to
Nolcha?
read one from my latest book, which is called Words into Elephants. And this was actually published in Spill Words. It's called Lean on Me. I am the cane that steadies you. I am the solid wall that keeps your chair from tipping. When you feel abandoned, I am your last friend. Trust me, I'm always here for you. Isn't that what anger is for?
Thank you. That's funny. Yeah, her poems are fun-loving, noir. There's a dark humor. She and I share some of the same sense of humor. So it's fun. Melissa, do you have another poem you'd like to read? Oh, yeah.
I hadn't really planned on it,
Oh, okay.
so that's fine.
Okay. So, Annette, did you want to read anything? Do you want to tell us who you are and where you're from at least? And I don't know if you're going to read anything, but you're welcome to.
Well, yeah, I'm from Michigan. I'm in Michigan right now. And I had some poems I wanted to read. Oh, they were right here. Let me see where they are. Here they are. But I don't know how much time we have, so do you want me to read just a short one?
Well, you can have at least 3 minutes, maybe
Okay.
3 minutes or so.
I would like her to be closer to the microphone. I can't really
Yeah,
hear
it's
her.
hard to hear. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
That's better.
Okay. This one's a little religious, but it's short. It's called My Lord's Love. As the sun can fill the sky, just so the Lord's love fills my heart, so that I never want him to depart. And I think to myself, he would never make me wonder and cry. As the birds' songs fill the morning air, so does my Lord's love whisper in his word. I sing a new song, not thinking it's absurd to be inspired by his books of care. Like a warm shepherd's pie filling my tummy, like the following dessert quenching my thirst, I give him thanks and all the credit first for showering and nourishing again me. What can compare to my Lord's love fair? All of nature and sky above don't put out a dare. Time for one more?
Yes, go ahead. It's still hard to hear because you're not reading into the mic. So if you could, yeah, get a little closer, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. How about Glorioso in the morning? Sometimes I feel like I've been blessed with dreams beyond compare. And then I wonder, who do I dare to hope? Why do I dare to hope they'd never grow asunder? I ask myself, will there be a time my memories of the dreams can be taken from me? I answer, please God, if you're willing, make sure there's no drilling in my skull electronically.
Thank you. Thank you, Annette. That's
You're welcome.
nice. So, okay. Lisa, welcome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Lisa's one of the key people in the garden, and you're one of the founders, I believe.
I'm not a founder. I've just been around for a while.
Okay. You're a key.
I'm mostly focused on the poetry and aspect of it, and then work with Nancy quite a bit on the backside of publishing and things like that. But anyway, I just came late because I was doing a podcast interview with someone from the UK. Well, it was fascinating.
Yeah.
It really was. I wanted to talk to them for hours. But anyway, so I'm a poet, artist, writer,
Publisher
of Prolific Pulse Press.
Right.
Yeah. Published Nolcha's latest book, Words and Elephants. So we're going to have her book launch on the 24th.
Right.
At 1 o'clock. Show up, guys, girls. I've got to see all women here today. So ladies. But anyway, yeah, so that's what's happening.
Do you have anything you would like to read, Lisa?
Yeah, I'll read one of my poems from Cadence.
Sure. Yeah, show them the anthology. In the chat, if you want to put any titles of books that you would like us to know about in the chat, that would be great.
Yeah, this is Cadence, Life's Poetic Rhythms. Zan Johns and I were the editors for it, and I see a few of the people in the garden and in the room that were in it, and Nolcha and Barbara, and looking across the line, Nancy, and I want to cut everybody. And this poem is called Stars Wash Across the Sky. Stars wash across the sky, melt into the dark. Just the same, they watch over, always feel a spark. Never too small to be seen, underneath or deep below. Sowing down into the soil, seedlings push their chance to grow. Smite upon the cabbages, cuts into potatoes. Onions cry from poles so tight, legumes wax sharp blows. Winds blow rough into the grasses, toss the reins about. Suns come up to foster growth, butters come to cups. Bush beans fill with seeds so full, ready for the next phase. Onions plump those left behind for their winter storage place. Growth from under, growth from above, showers wash over us. Never miss a single chance to serenade dear nature's love. Aligned we go, aligned we grow, aligned we prosper, overflow. No matter what may come this way, the mind will always know. It's a blaze of hope that warms the crops left to life to breathe. It's a chance at warmth and freshness full that makes life ever be. I used to have a garden, a pretty sizable garden, and years ago, and I did everything from, tilling to planting to hoeing to canning and all of that. And so that poem was inspired from that time in my life. I miss it in a way, but in another way, I don't miss it at all. I miss the food.
Yeah.
It's hard work though. It's hard physical work. I know. I still do it.
Physical work for
That
sure.
hard work, it'll get you.
Right. I was wondering if I can read a poem from my first book, Three Penny Memories.
These two.
I want to read this poem about my miscarriage. One of the issues, this book is about me and my mom. She had Alzheimer's and I helped her out. And the poems came about as a grief work, because when I told my uncle my mother was going to move closer to me, she chose me of the 7 children to help her. He says, well, Barbara, do you love her? And I'm like, oh, great. Wow. So I had to do a life review of me and mom and issues that might have united us and divided us. But the fertility issue was a big one. And I want to read it today because I'm sorry to bring up the word politics, but I feel really deeply for women these days in terms of their fertility issues, and they're very personal and and very heart-wrenching stories get to me. So this is Ode to the Embryo That My T-Shaped Uterus Miscarried. I had a T-shaped uterus because when I was in utero, my mother was prescribed diethylstilbestrol, DES, which ended up wrecking my fertility system completely and causing a lot of problems, cancer scares, and people called DES babies, boys and girls born to women who were prescribed that drug and who took it. Some of them have faced even worse problems than I did. But my T-shaped uterus couldn't support that embryo. You left my broken womb as the bloody remains of what was never to come. I still feel you in the waves, the flow of my sacral river. Your tears, your fears, I've abandoned you? No, honey, no, I'll never forget you. The T-shaped womb couldn't hold your brilliance, your tiny, beautiful self washed away. Your light sparkles in each of my cells, my core, your forever home. Your essence, my creative labor in verse and art. Everyone says, forget the dead. I can't leave my baby screaming in her forever crib, or my young miss alone in harm's way on grief's edge. Though never delivered into my arms, you shelter in my wound of wanting. Each night, I press my scar against a pillow to swaddle you in your mother's heat. In dreams, we share the sacred skiff, and together wind up and up out of the water, out of the wake of the wound, into a newborn sky. That's it.
This is so.
Yeah, and I'm just concerned about some politicians who have said disparaging things about women who have had miscarriages, as though we do it on purpose. And I just wanted to share that and get it out of my system.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 15 minutes left. And
Can
I'm
I
wondering
read
if
one of
anybody
my
else.
poems,
Yeah,
please?
Etya?
Can I read one of my poems, please?
Sure, please do.
Yeah, it's a very short one, and I also need to get it off my chest. Okay. All right. This is for my daughter. There is no doubt in my mind I loved you from the start. There is no doubt in my mind we should not be apart. Through thick and thin, we pushed along, not seeing eye to eye. You went away, I grieved behind, not knowing what went wrong. There is no doubt in my mind we learned so much together. There is no doubt in my mind we'll get through stormy weather. My darling daughter, you're my light, my flesh, my blood, my pain. You are my rock, my strength, my might. Our bond is real, not strong. There is no doubt in my mind I loved you from the start. There is no doubt in my mind we shouldn't be apart.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I see Nancy's back. Nancy, would you like to share something?
You know, I am not prepared this morning.
Okay,
So I will
okay.
pass.
Okay. So we've been Nancy put some calls for submissions in the chat. And I don't know, Lisa, if you have any new calls for submissions for anthologies.
The one I put up is for the current one that Lisa's working on, actually.
Oh, okay.
Black Poets for Black Poets Day on October 17th. And it's a little something different. It's not just writing a poem. It's finding a poem written by a published Black author, Black poet, and then doing an after poem, but doing it in video form instead of writing it. So
okay.
you can share the poem that you're doing, your poem, you know, do the published poem by the Black author, and then do your own poem following it in a video.
No,
Lisa,
that
you want
sounds
to add to
great.
that?
Yeah.
I would just want to add that it does not mean that you have to be the Black race, that you can be of any race, of any gender. It's open to everybody. So I did want to say that because there was a question that someone had about that. And but it's open to men and women. And
Thank
so,
you.
yeah.
Sounds fascinating. So we have 10 minutes left. Would anyone else like to share? Everyone's really sharing the time well. Melissa?
I'll read. If I was scrolling through my blog and I found one that people seem to like, so I'll read it. It's called Chasing the American Dream, and it's basically a response to pictures that I thought they all fit together nicely. I can put the link in the chat then. Chasing the American Dream. People are busy coming up with ways to define success, make more money, get more views, followers, likes, monetize all, searching like detectives for the right piece of the puzzle to make life meaningful, or at least bring us wealth before we expire. Toiling sun up to sundown for wages that amount to nil after we pay to live, having most basic necessities. 1% living in some billionaire bunker somewhere in Florida laugh maniacally at our fate and aching bones. All philosophers, self-helpers, experts, primed to take more hard-earned money to show us how to live our best lives, get rich quick. Elite symposiums about laissez-faire lives, empty, without coins to clink together, or meaningless paper not backed by gold. Status symbols and wealth define while they boast of mindfulness, veganism, and gluten-free, even though they don't have celiac disease. Donate a little to some nonprofit, siphoning money into offshore bank accounts owned by global interests. Denying climate change, tearing trees out by the root, fearing not. They'll be dead by the time we face harsher consequences. Move to Mars, build more there, build up higher, pack more people in. You only live once, no regrets. Spark a match, burn it all down. We'll watch from somewhere under the city lights as the world is covered in soot and ash. Maybe we'll meet God and finally have all the answers, just in time for when there aren't any problems, because nothing and no one exists.
That's great. Thank you. That's amazing.
Thank you. It's a little dark but I think, you know, it speaks to, I don't have social media anymore, but even just sometimes blogging, it's like everywhere, you know, the get rich now, it's just everywhere. And with my simple little life, sometimes I feel like, you know, I'm not compatible with the just
Yeah.
fast
Right,
paced everything.
Yeah.
right. I can relate. Yeah, I agree. I'm glad we shared all these wonderful poems and stories, memoir. I'm wondering if anyone has any comments they'd like to say about the event, and did it go okay? Any recommendations? We've usually done this in the garden, but this is an outward facing event that's being recorded, and we'd like to attract more people to share. So I hope it went well for you, and
I thought it was lovely.
thank you, Sylvia.
Not too big as well, because I think it's nice when people have more of a smaller group, although it's nice to have a lot of people attending. Some of the other poetry online stuff that I do occasionally, it's so big that you recognize faces and names, but you never really actually get a chance to get to know anybody or interact with anybody. Like, for instance, Melissa's poem. I mean, I really felt that one. I really agree with you, the sentiments behind it as well.
Yeah.
But you don't get much chance to say anything other than just a few comments in the chat or anything. And then
Right.
this was just the right size, actually. I think, yeah, a few more, but not too many more.
Right.
We
Yeah,
actually had a chance to relate to each other a little bit, you know.
Yeah, it's a nice intimate group. I enjoyed it too. I liked it.
I
There's no way of knowing how many will sign up each month. It's once a month, every third Tuesday, same time, same place. I guess we'll always register for it to get the Zoom link. It'll keep things more private, since it is public. But there will be a YouTube video, right? On Garden of Neuro on YouTube.
Will the links be sent out, or have I got to somehow keep that original email that got me into this one, or will we be getting a new email each month?
Well, what I'll do is I'll post an event on Facebook again with the Google Doc invitation, where you open the Google Doc and just register again. I suppose that's how it will go, Nancy, right? Or how
Well,
do you?
I think the way Zoom has this done is you can RSVP for upcoming events when you registered, if it gave you that option to do it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so I'm assuming that that means that they will send you a notice that it's coming out. But Sylvia, I will make that a point to put it out, you know, at least a couple days before the event, so that you have the link to at least get into the registration thing. I was playing with it this morning. It's a little wonky. It doesn't just let you in. You have to make sure you're registered. So now I'm registered too, and I can see it from that end, and we'll make sure that it happens. But thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I didn't register and I got in.
Really? See?
Yeah, I had to register to get in, but all I had to do is put my information in and it immediately took me here.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I had the same thing. But that's fair enough, isn't it? Because, but then you know, like the other one I joined on a Sunday night, which I talked about with Barbara before everybody else came in, was they have an automatic email that goes out every week with the link renewed every week. So that's a weekly one. So I just wondered if that was going to happen with this one, or whether I'd have to keep that email registered. Remember where I put it.
Well,
Keep it on hand, but I will do my best to send out a new email each week, each month for it.
So the people here right now don't have to register again.
Shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Because the invitation had all the upcoming dates, and I assumed if I registered, I would be. I didn't see it. I don't know. I can't remember. But
yeah, it had a little checkbox that you check it.
It did appear that you needed to check mark every one of them.
Oh, I did.
But I didn't think about that, so I only check marked the first one. But I also wanted to say, since I'm new, thank you, Barbara, for inviting me. Barbara and I are in a poetry group, and we do a lot of poetry together, going to readings and readings. I also host a monthly reading in a local restaurant and bar venue here in Columbia. And we support each other. We have a very supportive community of poets and writers. And both Barbara and I are in a poetry critique group, which if you're not in one, I highly recommend you get in a critique group. It's fun to share but it's also fun to be in a group with people you feel are better than you. So you can get advice from them about how to polish your work, and also where maybe to submit your work. It's really helpful if you're into being published.
Yeah. And just a reminder for those who, Sylvia and I got on a little early, and she talked about the group that's weekly, the Cultivating Voices on Sunday nights, and it's recorded. So if you,
Yeah, they've got a Facebook page, and you can join through that. And also they record it every single week, so you can always listen
Okay.
to the recording.
Okay.
And it's usually linked. The link is usually on the Facebook page as well.
Okay.
What's
Okay.
it called again?
Cultivating Voices.
Okay.
I also want to say that I had a couple of poems picked up for an anthology published in Germany. So I really appreciate the international group here, because I think it's really fun to be able to be published in, you know, the UK, Germany, or maybe other places, so we can share what we have internationally, and also receive copies of those anthologies, which also have voices of, the one I was in was women only, so lots of women voices from around the world. So it's really super cool.
Thank you.
I'm regularly published in a magazine called Dawn Treader, which is a British magazine. It's won a couple of awards of being a very good poetry magazine, although sometimes I'm not that keen on the poetry, but I get published it's 3 times a year, and I get published most times, not every single edition, but most editions. But they'll take anything. They're after nature, spirituality kind of issues, nothing. So like, for instance, Melissa, that one you read about the environment, that would probably be okay for them.
So what was it called again?
Dawn Treader. Let me just.
Could you put that in the chat? Because I also have a lot of nature, poetry, environmental poems. I'm always looking. I just got a call from what is it called?
The Dawn Treader.
Dawn Treader.
Treader.
The publishers are called Indigo Dreams Publishing. And I'm in this current one. I've got actually I'm quite pleased with the one they put in this one. It's a nice one about being on the beach in moonlight. Do you want me to read it to you quickly? It's only a short one.
And that's a UK publisher.
It's a UK publisher, yes, but they're online, so it doesn't matter. I mean, the books aren't online. It's not online published. It's only in the book format, and it is quite a good idea to subscribe. They're not expensive. I subscribe automatically. I usually pay 2 years in advance rather than doing that one at a time. But they're worth getting, because there's quite a lot of good poetry in there. There's one woman in there, Eve Jackson. She's won a couple of, I think she won the Forward Prize or something like that as well. There's a few people who are quite good in here, but there's also some stuff that's not so good.
I also, Sylvia, I had kind of a call on Facebook for this British online magazine called Stray Words, and they're out of the UK also.
I don't know that one.
Okay.
There's another very good one, which is a different theme each issue. It's not a monthly issue. It's I think twice a year or 3 times a year again. It's called Magma, MAGMA Poetry. The last edition was Performance. And I can't remember what the next one is. They've got the title out. But if you've got a poem, in that theme, and that's quite a prestigious British journal as well. It's one of the better ones. A friend of mine who's won the T.S. Eliot Poetry Prize a couple of times, actually. She gets published in there from time to time and stuff like that. So she recommends it.
Well, there's Stray Words. It's stray.words@outlook.com. And they have short fiction as well as poetry, up to 4 poems, and they're themed also, and this month their theme is Crossroads. So if you go to
Right.
the website, it talks about what their expectation for submissions are, and it's free. I don't really submit to those that charge a fee for submission or.
No, I don't either. I never do.
Because, you know, it's just-
Competitions maybe, but not for submissions, not for an ordinary submission.
You know, if I'm just gonna submit, I don't want to have to pay, and if you want to charge me to read my work, well, there's thousands of online poetry journals, so.
The other one that I used to get published in quite a lot, but then they changed their style of poetry that they went after, and I didn't fit into it anymore. But it's called Dragonfly, Flight of the Dragonfly, Flight Journal.
Oh, these are great. Thank you so much. Do we have time, Nancy, for Sylvia to read that poem, or are we-
Absolutely. Go right
Okay,
ahead.
let's
If
hear it.
everyone
I wanted to ask,
wants
does
to stay, I might not have to drop off.
Masticador have I'll look it up, don't worry.
Okay.
Do you take some submissions from British people?
Sure, I
Okay.
take submissions from all over the world.
Okay, cool. Okay, this is
Yeah.
called On the
It's really wonderful that we have an editor here.
Yeah.
I have submitted a couple of times, and Barbara actually nominated one of my poems for Best of the Net.
Yeah.
So that's always a good thing to put in your bio, you know, when
Yeah,
you
sure.
to an audience that you don't know that well or are not familiar with your work. I personally enjoy doing public readings, and every time I do one, I do sell books. So for those of you who have books published, you know, get out in the street and share your stuff.
I do. I'm not very good at marketing myself. I'm not a very sociable, gregarious person, really. I mean, I'm okay. I've got a focus like this and we're talking about poetry. I'm okay, but I'm not a sociable person. Like people say, would you like to come for dinner? No, thank you. Please don't invite me for dinner. I can't cope with it. I can't cope with it. My husband and I are very comfortable on our own, and we're not sort of desperately worried. We have got friends and we spend time with them, but we don't want to socialize generally. Anyway, this is called On the Beach in Moonlight, and it's actually very relevant because it's a full moon tonight, and this was actually a full moon swim a couple of years ago. She is harvest moon hanging low in the newly descending darkness. Clouds slink past like veils, attempting to cover her modesty. She's not obscured, not in this her moment of brilliance. She's made more seductive, her awakening, her fullness and beauty. We are 7 small, worshipful, lunatic humans, insignificant in the vastness of nature, though to each other essential collaborators, strangers in the night, gods of moon and ocean, charged with safeguarding one another, wild, free, vulnerable. Some already acquainted, others unknown, we make our way down the chined footpath, seeking out uneven features, stumbling across the mouth of the beach below, waiting for eyes too accustomed to darkness to see as night creatures. We swim towards tonight in the calm moonlit water. We swim tonight in the calm moonlit ocean, water soft as silk. Let the cool waves chill us with each approach, swim against the swell to keep warm, swim out a little, aware of the depths. Her impartiality to our existence, her capricious nature, one knows so well. Watching the path of the moon on the water far away from our safety parameters. What other creatures are swimming under this bounteous moon? Who else is out here celebrating her brief presence? This giant, glorious, heavenly body will wane again so soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Sylvia. And
Thank you.
I'm so happy all of you came, and we had such a great discussion and so much information in the chat. So I think with the chat, we should be able, I hope people who see the recording can see the chat. I don't know. But I want to do this again next month. So I hope I see you guys back. And thank you, Nancy, for all your work.
What was the date of it? Did you say the 20th?
It's going to be the 3rd. Yeah.
Tuesday. So yeah, I think if I send the recording out specifically to you, it will include the chat information.
So is that the 15th of October?
I guess. Let me check my calendar.
I'll put it in my diary if it is, and then I'll make sure I look it up.
Yes.
Yes, 15th. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. I'm going to close out the event and I hope to see you next time.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Barbara, and
you,
everybody.
thank you.
Nancy,
You're all
lovely
so
to see you
great,
as well.
wonderful.
Thank you, Barbara.
Bye.
Okay, I'm
Bye-bye.
Thank
gonna,
you.
Thank you,
bye.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.